Good evening. Welcome to Sterling for tonight's forum with Representative Hank Naughton. He represents the 12th Worcester District, including Clinton, Lancaster, part of Sterling, Boylston, and Northborough. My name is Lance Harris. I'm the Secretary of the Sterling Democratic Town Committee. We're here at the First Church in Sterling for another one of our candidate forums. This is the third forum in a series. We have Robert Feuer coming next week to speak with us about his race against John Olver. Representative Naughton, thanks for
Lance, thanks for having me.
To start, why don't you just let the folks here and watching on TV know why you're running for re-election?
Absolutely. A little bit about my background, and well, first I want to thank the Sterling Democratic Town Committee for coordinating this and organizing it, and the First Church for their graciousness in hosting us here tonight. And it's being 6:30 on Thursday night, the 14th of August. I want to wish luck to all of the runners in the annual Officer Chuck Martin road race that's going on in Clinton tonight. And I'm saying that because I want them to know why I'm not there. I usually run in it, but I felt this was a great obligation and a great opportunity to speak. I was born in Hanneman Hospital in Worcester, Mass. on July 4th of 1960. I'm always happy to talk about the July 4th part, but the 1960 it hurts a little bit more every year. To Harold and Betty Naughton, we grew up, my four sisters and I grew up in Clinton. My dad worked for the Clinton Water Department for 40 years, and my mom worked in the shops and the mills and the restaurants of the area for her whole life as well, putting my sisters and I through college, our first generation through college, and unfortunately they've both deceased within the past couple of years. I graduated from Clinton High School in 1978 and attended Assumption College in Worcester undergrad. Then worked as a child welfare investigator for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for several years while I went to law school nights at Suffolk University Law School in Boston. And after graduating from law school, I went into the Worcester District Attorney's Office working as a prosecutor, prosecuting child abuse cases, drug cases, assault cases, vehicular homicide, and all the cases that you prosecute there. And in 1994, I left that job to run for the 12th Worcester District seat, which was being vacated, and I was fortunate enough and honored enough to be elected. In the interim, I married Ellen Murphy Naughton, another young lady from Burnett Hill, and we have had 4 children, Harry, who is 10, Tiernan, who is 9, Claire, who is 8, and Eamon, my youngest, who is 5. And therein lies the reason I'm running for re-election. I gauge everything that I do at the State House by whether or not it would make their lives better, whether or not it would positively affect them. And if I say that it does, then I know it will positively affect the people of the 12th Worcester District, and beyond that, the Commonwealth, and to an extent, hopefully, our nation. And I want to continue doing that. We've had tremendous success in the years I've been in the legislature, but especially in this last term. But there's a great deal left to do, and I want to be there to make that happen for the people of the 12th Worcester District. One example I'll use is the fact that local aid, Chapter 70 school aid, general governmental aid to cities and towns, that whole formula is going to be revamped within the next couple of years, within the next term. I want to be there and use my experience as a member of the Ways and Means Committee for the last 8 years to fight for due process and for the fair share of the cities and towns of central Massachusetts, but more specifically of the 12th Worcester District. You know the Worcesters and the Bostons and the Springfields are going to be there fighting to get the biggest chunk of the pie possible. I've worked with the Ways and Means Committee with 2 successive chairs. I've been, I believe, incredibly successful in securing allotments, earmarks, allocations for our district, and I want to continue that, but especially in that fight for local aid that's coming up in the next term. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I'm running for re-election. I want to carry on, Lance, the environmental and economic development pieces that we have been leading the country in this past term. The Green Communities Act, the Oceans Act, the Green Jobs Act, the Life Sciences Bill. These bills that are dovetailing economic development, but with protection of the environment. First of their kind pieces of legislation in the country that directly and positively affect the citizens of the 12th Worcester District. And I want to carry on that work. And I know as we move it a little further into the evening, I can speak somewhat more specifically about the things we've been able to do to affect the quality of life here in Sterling and in the 12th Worcester District. But that's why I want to run for re-election.
Well, why don't we start there? What is the most important, or are the most important issues facing Sterling?
Sure. Sterling, like so many other communities, are facing growth issues, and it is so heavily dependent upon residential property tax for the funding of town government that what I want to do is, again, be at the table to fight for Sterling's fair share of local aid when we revamp this formula. But that's not going to be the entire answer. We also need to do economic development, bringing commercial properties into town using what the town of Sterling, the area down at Chockset Road and Route 12, was so 50 years ago. We were talking about Patsy Lanciani a moment ago, my dear friend who we all felt his loss recently. But 50 years ago, the Sterling Industrial Development Commission set aside that area specifically for that, and we've been successful in working with and attracting employers and businesses such as A&E Distributors to put a big footprint down there. And with that, any commercial entity that can come in and use space like that are going to be able to lessen the impact of the tax burden upon the private property owners. And I want to keep doing that because when we do that, we can still provide for our schools, which the parent, Ellen and I were out shopping for our for kids for school clothes last week. I'll say my 10-year-old, we had to get him carry men's 7.5 sneakers, so we're already at that level. And so we know what impact is being had upon the families of our district because we feel it ourselves. We feel the price of gasoline. You go to Shaw's or Hannaford and pay $4 for a gallon of milk, and that's not even the Corellic Farms or any of the organic stuff. So we feel it. And so I bring it home, and we talk about it, and they say, what can we do? What can I do to lessen that impact upon the families of the 12th Worcester District? The families that are concerned about their kids going to school, about the quality of their kids' education, the families who are concerned about their own health care, their parents' health care, their parents aging with dignity. We've both unfortunately lost parents after illnesses in the last few years, so we've felt that pain. And it's through these efforts, through these economic development efforts, environmental efforts, but what I would call quality of life efforts, that we've tried to make things better here in the town of Sterling for the people that live here. And one of the proudest accomplishments that I've had working with my House and Senate colleagues is the Washacum Village project, resolving a generations-long issue of ownership, of septic and sewer issues over there, and we're well along the road to helping the people that live in that area of Sterling to have some security